Thanks for watching this portion of Garage Logic today on our YouTube channel, and hit the subscribe button if you wouldn't mind. And also thanks to our friends at Everest Men's Health for sponsoring this. Go to everestmenshealth.com today to see if they can help you with better energy and better health. And catch the Garage Logic podcast wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.
Well, gee whiz, I'd like to say hi to her. I haven't talked to her.
Michelle, Kenny wants to say hi to you now. He feels like his feelings are hurt. Oh my
Michelle,
goodness.
Michelle, it was 29 years ago when we first spoke. Do you remember the occasion?
No.
It was a lawsuit.
Michael Jordan's father was dead.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh.
I'm not sure Michelle and I have ever talked.
We called you, and shortly thereafter, you ended up working at the Fan.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
29 years, Michelle. 29
that's
years.
terrifying.
Let's go. Michelle's on the clock.
Kenny.
Way to go, Kenny. All right, here we go. I'm rolling.
Yeah.
You cannot stop him. He'll just make a move. Joe Soucheray.
Congratulations, Michele Tafoya, on a long football career on television.
Thank you.
How come?
I noticed the emphasis on the word long.
Way to go, Joe.
No, but not many people can survive that long. I thought it was fantastic.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
Michelle, how come so little time between that departure and you're just so suddenly active, and we learned that you'll be involved with the Kendall Qualls campaign?
Well, what should I have waited for?
Well, that's a good question.
You know, time is ticking, and I had no real desire just to kick back and lay on a beach, although that sounds really good.
Right.
I'm eager to help get Kendall elected, and so I wanted to hit the ground running.
What role will you play for him? Certainly you bring him a lot of name recognition.
Well, that's a nice byproduct. I just really believe in Kendall. I met him when he was running for Congress, and we had a lot in common. I've told people this, and I'll continue to say it. We don't agree on 100% of the issues. Neither do my husband and I agree on 100% of the issues, and I think that's healthy. And I think the one that people are pointing out is I happen to be pro-choice. That doesn't make me pro-late-term abortion. It just means I'm pro-choice. I feel like that's my stand. We can get into details of that if you want, but he's pro-life, and I respect him, and he respects me. And we agree on so many other issues that are really pressing right now that I am the co-chair of his campaign is what the title is, to answer your question. Yeah.
Did you, was your thinking out of step with the industry you were in?
No, I wouldn't say that it was out of step with my industry. No, I wouldn't say that. I would say that most people, like in a lot of industries, are afraid to speak out. And so I can tell you I have a lot of good friends within the industry who we had some great conversations. But it also doesn't mean that I am anti people who disagree with me. I think that's one of the biggest motivators for me is, people are entitled to their opinions. And whether you agree with me or disagree with me, you're entitled to that. And, some people have written some really confusing things in the last 72 hours about my stances. But you know what? I'm not going to try to tell them what to believe. They're entitled to their opinions. So I'm just trying to remind people that the best conversation comes when you come at it with an open mind and a willingness to say, I'll listen to you at least, not name calling, not drowning out with noise, not canceling, not that crap. It comes from really, trying to find common ground. And I believe there's a ton of it out there that is being overshadowed by the conflict and the extremes.
Was your parting with television amicable?
Oh, completely.
Yeah.
They've known this was coming for several years. I originally told Fred Godelli, my producer, that I wanted to leave. I think back in 2019 or 2020 was going to be my last season, and then the Super Bowl got moved, and they wanted me to stay through the Super Bowl. It's kind of a long story, but no, it's 1,000% amicable.
Okay. And are you going to, when will you officially join Kendall's campaign, or have you already?
I have already. I mean,
Okay.
we just spoke earlier about an hour ago. We talk all the time. We bat around ideas, and I'm happy to speak on his behalf to whomever will listen.
Michelle, I mentioned to you that we've had Kendall on the show a number of times, and we've really enjoyed the conversations. What was it for you that drew you to him and his campaign?
He just is commonsensical. He and I are, I guess, for lack of a better term, we're happy warriors. Mm-hmm. We believe that the American dream is alive and well. I'm living proof of it, and so is he. And that's where we connected. I mean, people just look at me now and think that, oh, she made her career. Well, if you knew my background, if anyone bothered to ask, I had to work my ass off from the time basically I was born.
Right.
And, I can confirm that, yes.
Yeah, you can confirm. If they knew about my parents and where they came from, they'd understand that. And Kendall and I are both really, really not happy about people telling kids what they can't do, and that they're victims, and that they're, that they have these very specific issues working against them. We believe otherwise. We believe if kids are taught that they have every opportunity to pursue stuff, I'm not going to tell them they're going to be the next Michael Jordan, because they may not have the ability to jump that high, but they certainly have access to success, and they need to be given the tools to find that and the optimism with which to find it.
Can you it occurs to me that the other thing you might be able to bring to the campaign is just some television savvy.
Well, I think we will definitely talk about that. We'll definitely talk about presentation and all those kinds of things. So, I mean, if that's what you're talking about, I hope I understood your question right.
Well, you've been doing, you have a lot of experience. You know every trick in the book.
I don't know if I know all of them, but
you know quite a few.
I know some tricks. Look, it's really just about being authentic. I know that word is getting used a lot these days and maybe even overused, but if you're yourself and you really believe in what you're saying and you believe in what you're doing, just convince people of that. And do it with a smile, and do it with an open mind, and do it with a willingness to listen. I think that's the thing that works best. If you look at the most successful people in television, they are 100% wholly themselves. Mm-hmm. I firmly believe that. And for better or for worse, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But I think that's where Kendall has the opportunity to shine, because he is a really good man, a good person, a good father, a smart man who really, really, really cares and wants to help lead and solve some problems.
Joe, she's the most prepared broadcaster I've ever met in my life. A long time ago when we worked together, if Michelle had to do a 1-hour show, she walked into the studio with 3 hours of material. She's always been a hard worker, and I believe that's one of the reasons, Michelle, you succeeded so much in both radio and TV, and I think your star has always been on the rise, and it will continue to do so.
Well, that's awfully kind.
No, I've always been one of your biggest supporters. The time I spent working with you, I learned so much about just how to do the job. And it's been evident that you're always prepared and you're always ready and you always come off as a pro. And I think this is just another stepping stone on what has been and what will continue to be an amazing career.
Well, I hope so. And I'm thinking less about my career right now and more about our society.
Right.
And I know this sounds really dorky and Pollyanna and all the rest. I don't care what it sounds like to other people. This is genuinely where I'm coming at this from. I've tried to explain to people, I wake up in the morning and I'm immediately tugged at, like my gut and my chest and my soul are just being kind of pulled toward, we got some problems to solve, and we've got people we need to talk to, and people need to listen to each other again. And this fear of talking, it may be the most frightening thing of all, that people are afraid to express themselves in America, where we're guaranteed free speech, is devastating to me.
Michelle, I have a theory that we're getting to a point where we will not be allowed to talk to each other.
Well, not if I have anything to say.
No, I understand.
And I realize that I'm just one little human, but I love that old African proverb. if you think you're too small to make a difference, you haven't spent the night with a mosquito.
Yeah.
So, I think if a bunch of us mosquitoes can get together, we can make some change.
Michele, you kind of alluded to it earlier, but I'm curious to get your answer. I know it might be a bit of a loaded question, but if you could single out one thing that plagues the state of Minnesota and one thing that the Kendall Qualls campaign is going to focus on, what do you think that might be?
Well, I think the achievement gap in education is a big one. That jumps to my mind and has jumped to the forefront of my mind so often. It's just wrong that your zip code is determining how well educated you are. That's a big one. It means a lot to both of us. So I think that's one part. And I do think, I know this sounds so dorky and all, but trying to bring people together to realize that for as different as we are, we have a lot in common. I mean, Kendall and I are very different people from very different backgrounds, but we share values. And I think if you can find the values that you share instead of just, the hot takes or the opinions or the how you feel about the latest tweet, I think we're being so distracted by those small things that we need to really bring focus to the bigger ideas, education being a big one in this state. It used to be a great state for education. Well, you know what? I grew up in California. That used to be one of the top states for education. My mom was a school teacher there. It has dwindled. That's heartbreaking to me. And I'd like to think that maybe whether it's bringing school choice into the picture, yeah, I know the teachers' unions hate to hear that, but it's the kids we're worried about, not the teachers' union.
Well, it's also expecting more from these kids. They're told that we're going to make different rules for different ethnicities, for example. All you're doing is harming the child with that kind of thinking.
There is no question about that. I mean, to say that, that math is racist, as some school district in Washington did, in the Seattle area, whatever. Math to me is pretty cut and dried math. So I believe that everyone can achieve whatever they want. And, it doesn't need to, like you just said, we don't need to tell kids and spread this message that, you really need, you can't do this. You're in a position where you really can't, and other kids can. No, all kids can.
No, achievement has to be encouraged. Achievement can't be looked at as some sort of white affectation. Achievement is available to anyone.
Kendall Qualls is a living example of that. Yeah. He's a living example of that, and that's one reason it's very easy for me to get behind him, and he gets that. He understands it. I mean, the guy lived in a trailer home for much of his life. He went into the Army so he could pay for college.
Right.
He has accomplished so much, and he gets it. And to him, it is about encouraging, lifting up these kids and telling them what they can do, not what they can't do.
Well, I know Al Michaels has failed miserably at understanding this kind of thing.
Oh, my God.
I'm just kidding. I get along with it. I like Al.
I'm the best.
He's a good guy. Michele, thank you. We intend to stay in touch as we do with Kendall.
I would love that, and thank you. And everyone should remember, KQ4MN.com is where they can go learn more about Kendall, and if they've got an extra couple bucks they want to donate, we'll take that too.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Fantastic.